Hello and welcome to Thav Exclusive. I'm your host, Natasha Brown. On this particular episode, we'll be speaking with one of Nigeria's foremost content creators and stand-up comedians, MC Philosopher, known as Nonso Osingba as well. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, for this is going to be absolutely both insightful and funny at the same time. All right, MC Philosopher, this is so beautiful having you here actually on this hot seat, I must say. Because I mean, I've looked at your videos and how do you come up with all those words? Like you literally have to go through the dictionary, or you go through the law books and you have to, or you just say gibberish. Like once the cameras are on, you just open your mouth and whatever comes. That sounds like Latin or not.
I actually have a background knowledge in Latin because I went to the minor seminary, so we have background knowledge of Latin, and I also study law books from time to time, and naturally I speak grammar. It's just inborn. I don't have to look at the dictionary, but most times I improve myself. You understand, and look at words, some good words that I don't want to say the normal word. I want to say the one that has a very elaborate English and confuse people.
Yes, interesting. It's almost like, I can't remember his name, but is it the Delta politician?
Oh, Patrick Obayagbo. Oh. That's my mentor.
I'm looking forward to both of you doing a skit that will break the internet.
Patrick Obayagbo, he mixes his own with his local dialect, so mine is different.
No, but like if both of you did a skit, it would break the internet. People would wonder what's going on here.
It will break both the internet and the camera.
Interesting. Okay, so let's just get right into it. What is your backstory?
Growing up wasn't easy, and I started in a very confused state. I'll put it that way.
Interesting.
Yes,
I would like to know what that is.
My dad was a strict disciplinarian, so he always brought us in the way of the Lord. Like he was that
Christian home, religious faith.
We could be having morning devotions, and he was asking us for offering and tithes. So it was that strong.
Your dad would ask for tithe.
It was that strict, like so.
Interesting.
So you then not go on an errand, and he will first collect the change before what he sent you to buy. So he was that strict. So I grew up with that.
That is interesting.
I grew up with that mindset of don't take what is not yours, and always be spiritual, be punctual, just be yourself. Family of 4, I'm the last.
Okay.
And so my primary, secondary, I studied in Uniport. Then that was where I groomed myself from the comedy business. Skit making came in the tertiary institution, and here we are today, the creative industry in general.
In general,
yes.
I love it. I love to see that. And funny thing about you is, you know, back in high school, secondary school, you actually went to seminary.
Yes.
Junior seminary.
Yeah, in Ibadan.
In Ibadan.
The ancient city of Ibadan.
Right.
Lofty Hills. Yeah, we call it the Lofty Hills of Ibadan.
And then it's interesting to know that you actually were on that path of being a priest.
Yes. I
had sold out to God, totally. Eunuch.
I loved their personality when they were wearing their whites.
Looking all pristine, angelic.
Pristine. Yeah. And there were some friends that were doing some bad things. I needed to hear their confession. What is your secret? So it was too...
But they could literally just tell it to you. They didn't have to come and do the whole confession.
Yeah. That's where the difference is. Confession before a priest, you are bound by oath of secrecy. You can't tell it out. That's the difference between a priest and you telling your normal friend your secret. Could just use it against you. But as a priest, you are bound by oath of secrecy. Whatever one says to you in confession, you don't let it out. So it was a good formation. I almost fought that, but like they say, man proposes and God disposes.
God disposes or you dispose. You simply cut that call, said, Lord, don't call me. I think I like women. So,
yeah.
So give somebody else the priesthoodship.
Yes. I actually basically it was just about wanting to touch lives in one way or the other. And I think I'm still in that part.
Yes, you absolutely are.
Laughter,
I mean, you're making us laugh.
Medicine.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a medicine to the soul, especially in the times that we live in. So it makes... And it makes me wonder, had your parents already set you up to say, okay, you know what, this is the path you want to toe? As a priest, we support you wholeheartedly. Both minor seminary and major seminary. Were they in with you the whole way?
Yes, they were, because I was a born and bred Catholic. and they brought me up in that manner. So they actually put
and
me
even
in
said
the
your
school.
parents were Christian mother, Christian
father, Christian mother. They were there full time, and not just as floor members. They were actually heads. So that was the part. They were actually in support because I'm like the second son. I have an elder brother. So whoever wants to continue the family name is there. So if I decide to told this part, one father, ne father, as the Igbos will say, that's mother of a priest and all. So they always like to get that accolade. And
which of the eastern states are you from primarily?
Abia State.
Abia State, because I say that it seems to be a trend, or not a trend per se, almost like a tradition in most eastern states that there has to be a priest in the family, one way or the other.
Yes.
Is that a thing? Is it actually a tradition, or it's phasing away? But it seems to be something where, because most Easterners are primarily Catholics, with their religion. So, but is that a thing still where, one son or one daughter has to get into the whole seminary phase, either as a nun or a priest.
Basically those days parents always give birth to about 4, 5, 6, 7, so much so, and they have there's this pride that comes with your son being in the priesthood. When most times you come back to the village
and he's called Father Emeka or something.
Father, then the mother will always carry herself as a nay father. You understand? So the prestige is always there. The natural regard is always there. So they always loved it. So they always needed 1 or 2 persons from the family to tour that path. Yeah. So it's always common in the East. That's why you have some strong seminaries in the East, like Brigade and the rest, and the seminary that Father Tansi also came from. It's also in the East, and also it has always been a thing, and it still is till now. Yeah, Easterners, they always loved that. They always loved to bear that.
Yeah, even though there's a lot of stigma around, the whole priestship and all, there's been a lot of misconducts going on. But that's not the point, because even though there are misconducts, I'm sure that there's still the ones with proper motives and with the right thoughts, behind getting into that. But, so you, tertiary institution, you said to me that you studied microbiology.
Yes.
And it was so funny to me. It was funny to me because, especially in Nigeria, I don't know in all the parts of the world just yet, I've not looked into such a research, but okay, so interestingly enough, you said for your tertiary education, you studied microbiology, right?
Yes.
And that struck a chord because, it was quite funny to me. I don't know about other parts of the country or other parts of, the world, but here primarily in Nigeria, you find out those particular professions, microbiology, biochemistry, and all of that, they mostly don't practice, all of that. They don't. So it's either you find them in the banking sector or the creative industry and all of that. Yes. Like, look at you now. You are a comedian, which is also like a proper profession. But I'm just looking at that. It's interesting.
It was always very funny. When people always thought I studied theatre arts, but I felt there was really nothing much I needed to learn. It was inbuilt, stage drama, everything. I started from church, started acting and all, because whatever I was doing was just before the audience, and I'm a very bold person. I speak, public speaking, I do it very well. So I studied microbiology, and today I'm holding the microphone. Micro is micro. Hello.
Hello. Micro is micro, regardless. But even at that, you said you had you actually did love what you did, with microbiology, and that you are also looking at an avenue where in the future, you will still come back into it. Maybe a venture of yours.
Yes, a venture. Yeah, microbiology. The part I ventured in was in the part of science lab technology, where we'll do tests, and also I could just get somebody that is grounded in the field, open up a lab, licensed lab. And the person practicing. Because
honestly, I mean, definitely one of the key sectors in Nigeria that has been shortchanged is the health sector. Yes. So definitely, the more diagnostic centers or labs that we have, it will really do well to the economy and to the people. So I applaud that you are still looking into that.
No knowledge is a waste. That's what I feel. So I can't just spend 6 years in university and just throw it away. But I hope to practice not in one way or the other. Yes.
Interesting. So let's just get right into it. What has your journey been like so far? I remember you said that, in 2009, you won the open mic.
Yes,
AY
open mic.
Yes. So what was that whole journey pre that time up until now?
Yeah, it was a wonderful journey. Just getting off secondary school in 2007, I actually had a little internship. Like I went to work for an importer in Alaba international market just to build myself and get busy, just not to be idle.
That was immediately after secondary school.
Immediately after secondary school, like a month after, while I was waiting for my results and trying to write JAMB and all. So I had to work. Then along the line, I listened to this. There was this show AY does then, AY Life on the Morning Drive on radio. So I heard it and he was like inviting people for this. I was like, man, my cousin of mine, Walter, he was like, you can do this. Give it a try. The form is just 3,000. Let me pay. And he paid. I went to National Theatre, had the audition. First time I qualified for the final 10, had the final competition, and I made top. And I became the winner August 26, 2009. And this AY Open Mic produced the likes of Sheila, Emeka Smith, MC Shakara. So then on, it was stand up. I had my mentorship from Emeka Smith. Basically, he's in UK now, and I always go for events with him. That was where I learned basically how to anchor events, built myself on stand up, because stand up is not something you just stay. It's not like music where you just come because of that you're one single. You just sing and you have to build. You have to read your crowd. You have to be original. So I had a lot of thought process. I had a lot of learning to do. So as I was growing in the business, in the game, I was also building myself, my talent. So from then on, I came into Uniport and it was easy for me. I just met the person that was trending there. I think it's Warri Connection. Okay. He was a known comedian. I worked under him. I always like to give honor to whom honor is due in order to grow. So as he left, my name was already making waves in Uniport from 212 down. So I took it up from there. And the rest is history. From there, the content creating came and events were coming. The economy was clashing, as the case may be. Brands were coming, little endorsements were coming. Then with time, things were evolving for good. There were bittersweet experiences. There were challenges. There were times you would be on stage and you won't be funny. When I started, there was a time
the people just refused to laugh.
Yeah, comedians have bad days. You'll be like, man, this joke was funny in this place. What's happening today?
Yeah.
Why? You understand? And there were times you'll be emotionally down, but the show has to go on. Keep your emotions and make these people laugh.
So you just finish what you started and get off the stage and you say, this audience, oh God, you visit them for me.
At some point, it got to the stage, I was so tensed one day. I didn't know I was holding the microphone upside down. It was that strong. I was holding the microphone upside down. If somebody had to come, like, turn the microphone, keep it straight, be yourself, you know.
Right.
So lots of these challenges. Then with time, we became very strong based on consistency. We were entering some tough places and trying to make even 5 people laugh. You could see some people having meetings and you just come talk and they are laughing. Some of them would give you their cards, you talk. You go for comedy clubs, in clubs where people actually come to drink, and you make drunkards literally laugh. Some will promise you heaven and earth. Give me, I was also your show in the UK, out of drunkenness. You know, so a lot of all these things. But with time, the industry got to evolve and we got to grow in the business. And the content creating, you could be at the comfort of your home, create the content. You get views and you make money from it. So the niche came, everybody started doing their thing. The stand-up was there. People were doing their personal shows. Before it was strictly wildlife. Night of 1,000 Laughs, but now you have different shows, different brands, different comedians doing their own personal specials. Some doing it for Netflix standard, as the case may be. Some for special TV programs, and or some brands will request for it, you give them, and the game is the game.
Yeah, it's actually so interesting. And then you are part of the Sabinus team.
Yes.
And that is so interesting, the role that you play. Sometimes you're a gate man, sometimes you're the lawyer, and all of that. And you already said, you know, you have to literally read to come up with those words and all of that. So it makes me keen on what the creative process is like.
Okay.
Before you shoot any of those skits. I mean, one particular skit that you showed to me that garnered over 8 million views across social platforms. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And you said to me it was shot with just an iPhone.
Yes. It was shot with just an iPhone, and it took us about 7 hours from 9 p.m. till like 3 midnight. And the editing process and all. So it was shot with an iPhone. You just take people's shots. People didn't believe that we actually shot that with an iPhone, like just 2 iPhones.
I had to ask.
Someone was here taking different reactions. You take the pickup, take the medium, take cutaways, take reactions from everyone in the law court. We literally built a law court inside the room and all. And the creative process is like a sitcom off a script, no script, like this is what you're doing. You just tell you, so you go play this kind of role now, you do like this, see what you go talk. Is left for you to now get
to just get into character
and hope that the person you're interpreting your character is interpreting alongside you. The dialogue is also giving you back in return. So it's give and take. So you don't have to do all the talking. You can do all the talking you want. The editor will do his job. But you cue in when you're done, another person takes his part.
Would you say that's a bit of a disadvantage, especially when it's not scripted?
It's easier.
So because people just have to just become a character without guidelines. You just, whichever way. Would you say that has some disadvantage to it? Or it just gives you an avenue to fully express a character, like coming to it 100%?
Yeah, there are guidelines. Okay. The person that owns the story will tell everyone, okay, this is the story. Someone comes, you come. Okay, Mazi, you're playing this. Okay, Philo, you're playing this. Undoka, you play this. This is what you do. This is what you do. So it's easier for you to enter into that character that you're already used to. If they give you a script, you might want to play exactly what is there. Once they give you the situation, interpret it the way you deem fit. So it's easier for you to sell your brand and sell your own personal character the way it pleases you. If you're to be aggressive, you know how to be aggressive. If you're to fight, you know how to fight. If you're to be calm, if you're to express yourself emotionally, if you're to speak grammar, do your thing. We'll take cuts, let's retake. If it's not good, we'll cut. Some people make mistakes, we take, and tell you, okay, let's take 5. Calm your nerves, do this thing. It's in you, you can do it. Then you come, you take. If you give us more mistakes, we'll bring someone else. That's why we have a crew. So
I heard they're up to 39.
Yes, about 39 and more are still coming. But officially, over 39, 40 something in a group. So when there are crowd shoots, we just one chat and everybody gathers somewhere and we'll walk. So it's even easier to shoot here in Port Harcourt than Lagos. Because Lagos, before you gather people to shoot a skit that requires crowd, you end up shooting in traffic.
Lagos just had to take a shade. Okay, but honestly, before we even get more into this, I'd like to. I love what you've been able to do so far with Sabinus, and one cannot underplay the role being on the Sabinus team has had on your brand, MC Filosopher. So when we come back from this short break, we'll just delve into the power of collaboration. Yeah? All right. Thank you so much. And do stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And we'll be right back after the short break. Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Thav Exclusive. I remain your host, Natasha Brown.
And until we change the narrative with what we are introducing, a lot of us are going to continue to stay part of a movement.
So, talking about drums, we have the conga, we have other drums that are just portable, that can be movable.
Her purpose, she needs to find her purpose in life. Because if you don't find your purpose, you'll never really be satisfied in marriage.
I started impacting in the lives of my people way before my venture into politics.
Expensive drinks, you have to invite good customers, rich people, in fact.
Not for the poor. Mr. Yiba Coco. This is Thav Exclusive. You know you want to stay tuned to Thav TV if you want more of such amazing discussions coming up right on your screens. Welcome back. All right, so before we went on the short break, we were about to talk about the power of collaboration, leveraging off collaborations, because whether we understand it or not, in the day and time that we live in, regardless of whatever craft you are versed at or whatnot, or whatever field that you're in, collaborations matter. Because with one collaboration, it can take you from an A to a K, So I'd like you to talk a bit about that. What is the important role of collaboration, whatever craft one is in? For example, using being part of the Sabinus team.
Basically, the power of collaboration cannot be overemphasized. It's something everyone needs. You need each other to grow. No matter how you put it, you can never do it alone. There are people that make it as solo acts and all, but then you get to see that you cannot take all roles by yourself. You need to bring in this person, because this person is strong to play this character in order to pass the message you're trying to portray. So we collectively need each other to actually grow. And Sabinus has done so well in that aspect. He has been able to carry this crew along in a way that he's concerned about everyone's collective growth. It's not even always about him. Most times you always call, how far you don't shoot your own content, you don't do your stuff. Have you done this? What is your challenge?
Oh, so he keeps in touch with every other person's growth.
He does.
Interesting.
And my story with him is, it didn't start today. Actually, while we were in Uniport, because he also schooled in Uniport and all, when I was very strong, when I was actually like the rave of the moment then, I actually carried him along in stand-up. So stand-up wise, we go for shows together. I make sure he has his time to do his thing, groomed him at some point. You understand? So his growth in the creative industry, when it has to do with stand-up comedy, at least I think I played a part in towards his own growth too. Then coming down to creative content creating, he now decided that, okay, let's come and do this thing. This person is good here. This person is strong here. Let's work. So he always looks out for everyone, despite his busy schedule and his time. He'll always be like, any challenge, I know they see your content, what's the problem? I try, okay, I come. If I enter Port Harcourt, we'll go shoot. No your phone, no day off. You know, those kind of things. He's not just concerned about just himself.
I love that. I love that so much because most of the people, or most of the individuals rather, that I've spoken with on the Sabinus team, they've had those positive things to say about him. And it's interesting to see someone who has such limelight actually be interested in the growth of those on his team. It's such an important...
He doesn't just use you and dump you. Even if you feature in his skits, there's always something for everyone to go home with. So you're not just coming empty-handed because Sabinus call you.
Yeah.
You always have something because everyone pays bills regardless. Oh, thanks for shoot. Oh, everyone drop your details. Something will hit you. Use it to continue to pull through. Right. God no go shame us, as the case may be. Everybody's happy. We'll have little refreshments and everyone is good.
What interesting thing about you brought you in on the Sabinus team? Was it just because you had helped during your Uniport days, you know, during his career as a stand-up comedian, or you had something exceptional that was needed on his team? That was the reason he brought you in.
In order to be on the team, you need to bring something to the table. There are people that actually work behind the scene. Theirs is to hold camera, edit, and do their work. So anybody on that team, you're bringing something to the table. You have a unique character that is sellable, and that has to do with the kind of story he portrays.
Right.
So you are playing a major role while you're on the team. So it has nothing it has nothing to do with, I helped you, so you owe me one. No. You do what you have to do for the culture. That's how we put it, for the culture, because you never know what tomorrow holds. You understand? So he felt, oh, okay, I'm building this team and I think you have this good role. This is your English way they speak all those days. Come, let's see how we can groom this into a character and push. Let's create it from the humor aspect of it. Not just speaking the English and we'll go laugh, go. Let's make money from this thing, and it's doing well. It's doing well. So far, so good.
Interesting. And then, you know, behind the scene, we're talking about the challenges, you know, of the in the content creation, you know, sector part of comedy. And you talked, you know, so most of the time when I speak with certain creatives, especially in the content creating sector, they talk about, oh, the government. But you came from another totally different angle. And I quite, you know, appreciate that. Because most of the time we would always say it's the government, but absolving ourselves of our own responsibility. You know, so one key question I want to ask is certain challenges right now faced, you know, in the content creating sector.
Yeah, the major challenge faced in the content creating industry is mediocrity. Everyone sees that this thing now we're making money from it. Let us just put things out there.
Just keep putting out any kind of thing. No one is concerned about this thing you're putting out there, is it palatable for this audience? What kind of audience are you trying to catch? What message are you even passing with this humor? Some you see pranksters do their thing. In the process of trying to create content, you are harming each other. Some couple, they bring in their entire family into content creating just to get views and get paid. Fine, everyone is trying to look for his pocket, but I don't see the government. Government doesn't have anything to, at least you're making money from it. The government has not taxed you. There was a time they wanted to pass the bill and everyone started raising voices and all. If you notice now, you see brands coming to meet content creators. Okay, sell this brand for me. How much? Let's talk. Be my ambassador. So the industry is actually booming to a large extent. So where does the government want to actually come in? Most times you don't always think of what the government will do for you. What can you do to impact your government? So it's a different ball game
when it comes to content creating. You sit at the comfort of your home. What it needs, it's your mindset. Get creative and put something out there. Let it be original, let it be palatable, and you make money from it.
You know, so even outside of just, you know, being creative and being consistent and making it palatable, you mentioned that there are rules, there are guidelines.
Yes.
You know, on every of these platforms. So you need to know what will make you eligible for monetization. It's not necessarily you just having to, you know, post videos and all of that. So it's an interesting one to note. It brings me to this question. How is one able to actually pave a successful career path in the comedy industry? What will influence your inevitable success in the comedy industry?
Yeah, basically, what's anything that would influence your inevitable success in the industry, I think mentorship plays a role. Because
and you said your mentor at the point in time was Emeka Smith?
Emeka Smith, yes. I believe in this philosophy that if you don't have mentors, you would have tormentors. And when you have a mentor, what will take you 10 years to achieve, you could achieve in 1 or 2 years, because you will build from the experience of your mentor and his mistakes. And you try to avoid those mistakes that took him so much time to become who he is. And you just override the mistake and work on yourself from there and become better. You understand? But most people mistake mentorship for godfatherism, and they mistake loyalty for slavery. So these are two different things. Because I'm loyal to you does not mean you turn me to your slave. I also pay bills. I also have my own life to live. You're putting me through in this process does not mean you don't let me have my me time. Because I'm also human. And for the sake of my sanity, I need to also have my me time. So at least respect me as a person, because I regard you as my mentor. So it's a reciprocal, it's a two-way thing. You as my mentor, you also need me at some point. You could call me, I was standing for events for you. After the event, you don't take all the royalties. Show me love.
Show me love.
You get it? Yeah.
And that literally means paying you some money.
Loyalty that has not seen money, avoid it. Yes, because I need to pay these bills. What if I tell you I don't have clothes to come out for this event, or I come out from this event not looking good? You scold me, because this is not you. I'm coming to represent you. So at least show me love in order to represent you out there well. So that is the basic thing that will be influential for you to be successful. Your packaging, how do you package yourself out there? Dress the way you want to be addressed. When you come out, be presentable enough for brands to want to associate with you. It goes beyond what you are even putting out there. Do you understand? There's a way you come out. Some people will be like, okay, this guy, there are events you go to, you don't speak vernacular. The business, if I don't speak broken, the joke no go funny. Spare me that. You could speak English all through. There's a way you communicate. You're creating humor with pure English. The likes of Bovi, they do it. Basket does it, they do it. Yes. You speak your pure English to politicians and brands, and you're creating your humor. So the game has gone beyond, you get one rat, you get one this. No. Give us something that is trending. Give us something that is educative, and still create humor from it.
Even something that is borderline intellectual.
Yes, as intellectual as you can be. Yes. You're passing a message, you're creating a humor. That is how I got my name, MC Filosopher. I always crack my jokes from a philosophical angle. I'll take you here, bring you here, and make you think. We are still laughing. That's it.
I love
it's a win-win.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So interesting. Would you consider yourself a successful comedian, and why?
Okay. I would consider myself a successful comedian, and I'll also say that I'm still growing, because the day you stop learning, you start dying. That's what I believe. So while I'm growing in the business or in the industry, I'm still learning to improve my self-worth, because people are coming up every other day. It gets intense, it gets tough. I'm not saying I'm in competition with anyone, but provided I'm able to pay my bills without being a burden to anybody, I think I'm successful. I know go fit tell you give me urgent 2K because I feel afford them. If you need my assistance, I can render it without shaking, because I've built my brand to a stage where I think I can put out something there, and I know that I will make something out of it. Then I try my best to also save, because entertainers find it difficult to save. It's
because
very tough.
And the funny thing is that you mentioned this. I think 2 days ago, I was having a discussion with a community, startup community.
Okay.
And we were talking about the creative industry here in Nigeria. And it was shocking for me to see, according to, is it an African business magazine or so, that Nigeria, Africa, the African, creative economy, we contribute only 1%.
The African creative economy.
To the global to the global creative economy, revenue, I was shocked out of my
Where did they get the
socks.
statistics from? It depends on
Well,
the aspect they got their statistics
Well,
from.
I would maybe have to delve deeper into
Yes.
that, but I was just shocked out of my socks. And I was speaking with someone who's a talent manager and all of that. And I was trying to understand, with all the noise we have in the creative economy,
in
now this
Africa.
is including Nollywood, the arts, and music. And I was wondering what's going on,
Yes.
But honestly, when she broke down certain things to me, I got to understand that it is possible that we have a lot of noise and
But
not necessarily generating much revenues now, not necessarily because of even the craft, the system surrounding the craft.
The system.
And she broke it down. She said, look at the streaming platforms. None of them is owned by an African. So you have your Netflixes, you have your Tidal, you have your Spotify, you have your YouTubes, you have all of these. When they generate their contents on there, yes, they make some money, but the bulk of it leaves the continent. So I looked at all of that, and I did see that there's a lot that we have to do beyond the noise. And then, there's the part of keeping up appearances, like you said. So you make some money. You talked about packaging, which is not wrong in its entirety, but when financial knowledge and then packaging, so you're making maybe 60,000 or 60 million, and half of the money is used for your wardrobe and the car that you drive and all of that. Before you know, you're not saving enough. And God forbid that something happens to your kidney and you come out and start asking for GoFundMe. So definitely I see that. And that's something that, a lot of creatives need to learn. Financial intelligence.
Financial intelligence.
At the end of the day.
Very important.
Okay, so let's just go right into it. What 3 ingredients does an aspiring comedian need to have to be able to have a marketable brand?
Okay.
3 key ingredients.
3 key ingredients.
To be able to be a marketable brand. Brands will want to work with you.
Okay, I would say consistency, one. You have to be consistent in your craft. Be known for something. Creativity. In the midst of consistency, be creative enough to attract these brands. Then thirdly, be original. Even if you want to have a copyright or you want to do something, let it be originally known that it is your own originality. It could actually be linked to you. Say, now this person gets this line, now this person gets this talk. Be original. And this is the same thing that Facebook has. When you take people's content and put without this, they violate the restriction. They flag it. So they are also preaching the same gospel of originality. So you have to be consistent. You have to be creative enough to attract brands. Then you have to be very, very original. That is where we have the palatability of what you are putting out there comes in. You cannot tell me because you're exposing a lot of nudity in your craft and my brand should come and what are you selling to us? How do you tend to promote our brand with nudity? You understand? So
but interesting enough, you didn't even talk about a huge number of followers and subscribers and all of that. Is that not a necessary criteria?
It is a criteria, but there are some brands that will just come to you and merge you with somebody else, then push the content by themselves via sponsored ads. Your followers plays a role, but there are some people that don't even have so much followers, but they have good brand ambassadorships that they are actually pushing, even with little followers. But the followers plays a major role because sometimes in your this thing, they'll tell you have to do this, you have to meet up so amount of views from this content you are paying you to put out. But some brands will just come and say, just give us this content pertaining to your brand, then let us push it via sponsored ads and let it just go. And we are good to go. There are brands that do that. Then there are some that after, when you put out this content, if it doesn't hit this amount of views, we won't give you your balance. So there are people that also.
So interesting enough, visibility is very important.
Yes, visibility is important.
And having audience engagement. Is also very important. Good. That still bothers down on being creative. Okay, so let me just ask you this: we live. So first of all, we're in Nigeria, yeah.
Okay.
We live in interesting times.
Okay. Interesting times. Very interesting.
Almost every kind of news you hear is depressing. The economy is abysmal. Almost nothing seems to be working. A lot of things are going on, inflation. So literally, the average Nigerian does not want to laugh.
Yes.
We are serious. you are on the road, literally someone just flips, you just say, why did you do this? The person tells you your life story. So I am wondering, I'm thinking right now, the task is a lot for comedians because you need to be able to be funny for us to laugh. So how are you still able to maintain your own mental space so that you're still in that space where you can be able to deliver to us good content to make us laugh?
Without saying much, I think I'll just come from the spiritual aspect. You just have to be prayerful, because I believe in my spirituality so much. There are times that you face challenges and you face some attacks before you go on stage. Sometimes people might talk. When they introduce you on stage, the mic naturally stops working. So it's more spiritual than physical.
Oh, really?
Because the game is the game. Yeah, I tell you for free. A lot of things is happening in the creative industry. It's so dark that one needs to hold whatever he feels happy with, because I wouldn't say believe in any spiritual being. Whatever works for you. If you want to go traditional, no problem. If you want to go spiritual in the one we understand from the Most High, feel free. Whatever works for you, hold on to it. My very good friend will say, if you don't get juju, hold God. I don't know, but whichever one that works for you. There are traditionalists that still do their thing and make money as native doctors, as more as the case may be. So I think for the sake of your sanity, you need to settle down, prepare, and just whisper a word of prayer before you go up there, and hope that sometimes we just go up stage and you don't prepare, you just get spontaneous. Whatever spontaneous lines you see there, use it to create humor. And you bear in mind that for people to actually come out, they actually want to ease off this pressure. So the onus is on you to now try. Fine, you're facing the same thing as a comedian, but you've been paid and you have a job to do. You need to deliver so they can recommend you tomorrow. So whatever issue you have as a comedian, you keep it aside. Then when you climb on stages, sometimes you see comedians tend to remind them, say, not be me cause your problem, or I beg. Just keep anything where you pass through. No, catch fun, you understand? People find that funny, but in actual sense, you're actually begging them to actually leave your issues aside and just understand, listen to me. And there are some comedians like the stock, I'll tell you, you listen to me, this joke concerns you, you go funny. You understand? They will laugh to it, but he's actually trying to gain your attention. Sometimes you're on stage and you're trying to make people laugh and you're just having some random conversation. It's not as if what you're saying is not funny, but their problem is sometimes bigger than your joke.
Doesn't that get demoralizing?
Yeah, it does.
So how are you able to keep talking when you see certain actions from your audience that is not encouraging at all? How are you able to stand with a mic and still keep it till the very end? That's
where the passion and creativity comes in. So you now have to enter into the crowd and get interactive. So it's no longer about you standing and talking. Engage them. Okay, if Nigeria is this, what is this? Let them also talk there. Or you, DJ, do you have this? Carry them along. So it's no longer you doing stand-up. You're now dialoguing with them. Okay, let me take you far back to those days. Do you know this holidays come?
So they become your co-comedian.
Yes. So no, do this thing together. Let's do it together. Since people don't want to listen to me, let's now do it together. Then you just, okay, DJ, play small song. Who can relate to this? Before you know, you've won them back. Then you continue your stand-up.
Yeah, and interestingly, you talked about how dark the creative industry can be. I mean, recently we were, with the whole Mobad issue and all of that, Nigerians came out en masse to say this cannot be the order of the day. And the funny thing is, it's not peculiar to the Nigerian creative industry. It's all over. It's all over. So it's interesting that you have to say that for one to be able to thrive, you need to have a certain belief system that will keep you grounded.
It's not rocket science. You need to.
So that is interesting to note. All right. So lastly, rounding this up, what should we look forward to with the MC Filosopher brand?
Yeah.
What upcoming projects do you have coming up and all of that?
Yeah, more content, definitely, that has to do with passing message. Then I'm also preparing for a sitcom, short film that might not have to do with just humor. I want to just pass a message for just 30 minutes. It's like a short film that will be like episodal, but it's going to be in form of taking social vices, trying to treat social vices through a touch of humor, just a touch of humor. You understand? Then let's see if we can pass a message with that, because people actually, as Gen Z, everyone is on their phone. It goes beyond just dancing on TikTok and always wanting to laugh. At least put out something there that will pass this message that people want to. Then when you're passing the message, also provide a solution in your content. That's the kind of content I want to put out there now. Then next year I hope to host my personal events, both an African tour, Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya. We'll have sponsors coming in already. Then hopefully towards the mid-year, we'll take it to UK, like a UK tour, Manchester, London, involving some certain comedians too, and over there, you understand? So those are the upcoming projects to help us and God keep us alive, you understand? Because most times we just plan without thinking of what tomorrow actually holds. We are not the owners of our lives. So ours is just to plan and also pray for the best. So basically, these are the projects coming up then. Also hope that things get better because the creative industry has suffered so much. There are event droughts. Comedians, entertainers are crying out so much, like so much. Even if they contact you for events, they short pay you or they short charge you because some people cannot actually bring out that money for you to just come and do this gig for them. They feel they have someone that will collect their budget. So you tend to ask them, what is your budget? Let's see if it's something I can work around. So you might play an event now. Your next event might come like 2-3 months later. So we're just hoping that things get better. So you now, from the little one you've gotten from this event, you now use it to survive, waiting for the next event to come. And this is the first time it's happening so much this year. I was talking to a comedian, colleague of mine, and it was like 3 jobs. They just called, the wedding is cancelled, that they know they marry again. I said, how? They change the date. Or they know they marry again. Say they just couple just quarrel. The guy say the bride price too much or something. So every sector is actually affected.
So a lot is going on.
A lot.
And it's primarily because of the economy.
You see, company is supposed to call you now for end of the year. The next thing they tell you is, that one guy with our finance department, the guy is funny. Now him go do the MC. Do you get? So everyone is not trying to improvise to manage now. The creative industry, when it has to do with comedy, comedians and masters of ceremony are now suffering. And you see people just say, you get event this Saturday, may I just follow you? Even if not to ginger, may they just pray. More carry something, come house, just for you to just be busy. You understand? And most times you always like to hold mic every other week, try to test your new jokes so that they don't wear out. There's some jokes that you actually create for a certain moment. Maybe after a week or two, you can't say those jokes again because the things that made you create those jokes, they're no longer obtainable anymore. So you always
because you have to keep up with the times.
Yes. So you always want to go here, talk, create humor, and see how you can always relate with people most times. And nightlife, security is another challenge. People don't stay out all night, late nights anymore. The whole kidnap and all, and the social vices out there. 5, 6, 7, the road is dry. And most of all these our events, they spiral into the night. So these are recently a comedian, a colleague of ours.
MC Dave.
Yeah.
Well, he has been released.
Yes. You know, we don't know if it's a trend that will be coming up now. If we carry this guy and this kind of money come out, who will be the next? So even as entertainers, we are scared to go out there. Not everyone is mobile, and you don't know if you're booking a cab, how safe it is at that time of the night. And most times you have night events, after parties, and you're coming home the wee hours. You don't know who's following you behind and how safe where you are is. So a lot of all these vices need to change. So it goes beyond even setting down plans and long-term goals. Some of these things, this is where I beg the government to actually do things better. We are not saying empower us. If you can, please do. But then again, make things at least
an enabling environment. So security definitely number
one. That's why
one.
A lot of persons that are actually even doing well. Jackpot, everybody don't the jackpot as they put it. They want to travel out. You're with your friend today, you're having a drink, watching football. Tomorrow you're seeing Facebook, Newcastle be nice, London I'm here. Thank you, Lord. Not be me and you sit down here yesterday. They already the UK, so you know, So it's looking like everyone is actually going in search of greener pastures over there. It's not as if you get there and you stone money from the trees and it falls. No, you walk yourself out to make your money there, but it's a system that works. So if the system is actually working here, people will not travel out. I believe so. Because we are creative here. When you check people that view your study, you see that most of them are not even Nigerians. People abroad and watching that's why we always ask, where are you watching from? So that you know how far your content is actually going. And the amount of people you are talking, I'm watching from Uganda, watching from Kenya, watching from Tanzania, nice one. When is the next episode coming? So these things motivate you to do more because your audience is going far. So when you want to do gigs outside the shores of the country, you know that your face has sold to a large extent, that you know how to attach your fees for your events. So a lot of everything affects us as comedians, planning our events and all. So that's just it. That's why we reduce our brand. Okay, regular 2,000, 3,000. Okay, just come. Let it be that you have people to at least entertain. Not planning shows with millions and you don't have anyone turning up because of high cost of tickets.
This is a lot.
So that's
it is a lot. And, well, Almost every industry is facing that, but well, especially for the creative industry now and then, you're talking about event droughts, and I know that that's primarily a thing because I don't know a lot of comedy events that I've attended this year so far. But
brands that are supposed to sponsor your
right,
events,
I
telling
see
you,
that.
I'll give you products, no finance.
I hope that it changes, and well, we definitely are hoping that the government, gets to play their part. But for me, I've gone away from looking at the government. Right now, I'm looking at the private sectors. The private sectors actually need to understand that the creative industry is working and can work better if they put in their investments one way or the other. And then let's not forget that there's the role that the private sector has to play, even with the public sector, with the public sector, in the sense that they also have the ears of the government.
Yes.
If Tony Elumelu were to speak to the president, if Aliko Dangote were to speak to the governor, to the president, if Mike Adenuga were to pitch a certain policy or whatever, if the elites were to be able to pitch in their tents with the largest citizenry, I definitely think that the government will listen. Because the government listens to money. But then if we actually get into this conversation, we will not leave here, because this is a lot to talk about. But I wish you all the best, MC Philosopher, and I hope that all of your projects, the ones both in Africa, outside of the country, I hope it turns out really well for you, and then the event drought doesn't affect you.
Because these bills don't pay themselves.
Understandably.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And to you out there, I'm sure you've learned one or two things. Remember, this is Thav TV. I remain your host, Natasha Brown. See you next time.